Welcome back, guys. This is going to be my first of the preview-review videos for Yu Yu Hakusho Dark Tournament. This is hitting stores next month, next 23rd, and this is probably the set that I've been the most hype about in years. I've been waiting 5 years for this set. I'm really excited, so let's delve into the first 4 characters and kits that have been revealed thus far. The first is going to be Bui from Team Toguro. He is a 5 hand size 36 health character with Death, Earth, and Water. He's got Enhance, once per turn your turn, destroy 1 face-up ready foundation, build the top 2 cards of your deck face down. So trading 1 face-up ready resource for 2 face-down ready resources. Then he's got Form Commit, your next attack this turn gets plus X speed and plus X damage. X equals the number of your face-down foundations. So he says once per turn, turn him sideways, make any attack a killer. This is awesome. 36 health is a lot to get through. Hopefully we can see some draw on these symbols, because he does have 5 hand size problems. But all in all, I think he's going to be pretty fun to build. And like I said, you can make any one attack pretty much guaranteed to hit. And hit for a lot. So, speaking of attacks, let's get into his kit. First up, we have Arena Stone Toss. This is a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 3 mid for 5, with a +1 mid block. It's got EX3, ranged, and weapon. That's it. Just the EX3. This is a pseudo blank attack. I think every character we've seen thus far has one of these pseudo blank attacks. Just kind of a all-around decent card, probably for draft or sealed, but I'm not sure how much play they will get outside of that. Moving on to Aura Slam, a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 3 mid for 5 with a +3 low block with Slam and Throw. So even if it's fully blocked, it'll deal half damage rounded up. And it says Enhance, if this attack is blocked, build the top card of your deck face down committed. So if it's blocked, you get another resource. It is committed, but you can either destroy it for costs or whatever, or you just, going into your next turn, have another resource at your disposal. And then we have his Ultra Battle Aura Release, a 4 difficulty, 4 high for 4, with a +2 mid block, 3 control. It's got charged and ranged. It says Enhance, flip 1 foundation, draw 1 card. So there's the draw we were looking for. It is on an Ultra, but flip 1 foundation, draw a card is pretty good. And then Enhance, this attack gets plus X damage, X equals the number of face-down foundations in your stage, maximum 4. So ostensibly this is a 4 high for 8 that draws you a card. Pretty solid. Pretty solid Ultra Rare. I really like it. I think you're going to see a lot of this card even outside of Bui. Next we have Devastating Swing, a 5 difficulty, 3 mid for 7, with a 3 control and a +2 high block. It's got Powerful 3 and Weapon. It has Enhance, if you have more foundations than your rival, this attack gains Stun 2. So likely this is going to almost always be a 3 mid 7, Stun 2, Powerful 3. Pretty solid on a 5 diff, I think. And again, Bui can make this nigh unblockable for 1 billion damage if he wants to. Moving on to his foundations, we have Battle Aura. 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 mid block. It says Response, Tenacious, Flip. After this card is committed due to your rival's effect, this attack gets -2 damage. That's pretty cool. Normally on our Stun Hate, we see that it either readies a foundation, or readies itself, or reduces the speed of the attack. But to reduce damage as a punishment for stun, I think that's pretty cool, because then if you can't block it, because you're stunned, you still don't take as much damage, and I think that's a really cool ability there on a 1 diff. Pretty nice. Also, if I'm going through these kind of fast, it's because this is my second time doing this video. OBS decided to crash on me 27 minutes into the last one, so I am going to be going at a little bit of a better clip. But maybe that's better for you guys. You don't hear me ramble as much. Moving on, we have a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 low block in Beneath the Armor. It has Enhance, once per turn, flip 1 foundation. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. Pretty solid. either damage reduction to keep you alive, or damage boost, especially on that throw, making it a 7 damage, to force your opponent to deal with your attacks or push a lethal attack just over that edge of lethal. Next up we have Enormous Axe, a 3 difficulty, 5 control with a +1 mid-block. It's got the weapon keyword. It has a static that says, after this foundation is destroyed, build the top card of your deck face down. So trading 1 for 1 if it's destroyed. Pretty good. I remember in Retro this was printed on a 0 diff, and it was everywhere. So I'm kind of glad that they upped the difficulty a little bit. And then Enhance, commit, if this attack gets plus X damage, X equals the number of face-down foundations in your stage, maximum 4. So, kind of just an extra copy of that Ultra Rare's Enhance, but you can do it on any attack. And that's just pretty good. Extra 4 damage on your commit, and then if you destroy it while it's committed, you get a ready resource. I see no downside to this except maybe the plus the 3 difficulty, but again, I think an ability like this kind of warrants that. And finally we have Weapon Clash, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 high block. Unfortunately, for being Weapon Clash, this card does not have weapon, but it does have 2 enhances. The first is destroy 1 face-down foundation. This attack gets -2 damage to a minimum of 1. And then enhance flip, build the top card of your deck face-down committed. So you can continue to do this damage reduction, or you can flip this to get another resource for your going into your next turn. All in all, I think Bui is pretty solid. His main downside is, can he draw cards? On 2 of his symbols, Earth and Water, you do get Ochako 4's cards, and he does have a couple of charges in his kit, at least one of them. So, yeah, I think this guy's going to be scary. I think this is going to be a 5-hander to watch out for. Kind of like Fourth Kind, but without the stun. Moving on to our next character, we have Chu, the Drunken Master. He is a 5-hand size, 32 health character with Earth, Fire, and Order. Speaking of Fourth Kind. And he's for Team Roku Yokai. He has an enhance that says if your non-throw attack deals damage, commit and flip 1 rival foundation. Alright. It's not quite the your rival turns 4 foundation sideways, but that was a once per game. This is any non-throw attack that you get to deal damage. And then response, before your rival's ready step, draw X cards and discard down to your printed hand size. X equals the number of committed foundations in your rival's stage, maximum 5. So he is always going to go into your rival's turn with a full hand. That's scary. The fact that this guy can see 10 cards easily over the course of a turn, or 2 turns. The fact that he can overcommit into you and not worry about it because he can draw 5 more cards if need be. I do wish that this said during your end step instead of right before your rival's ready step, just because if you're clearing cards from your card pool, maybe your rival starts readying stuff before you declare this, it can just make things a little awkward. I think saying during your end phase or your end step would be a little bit easier, but maybe there's a reason they did it the way they did it. Moving on to his attacks. We have Drunken Uppercut. This is a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 5 low for 3 with a +1 mid-block. It's got Powerful 3 and Punch. And that's it. This is his pseudo-blank attack. It's fine. It's a 5 low 3 with Powerful 3 as a 4 diff. It's okay. I don't know how much play it'll see outside of Sealed, but you never know. Next we have his Ultra Knife Edge Deathmatch. Anyone who's seen the Dark Tournament arc knows how fun this episode was. It is a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 5 mid for 5 with a +1 low block. It's got Stun 1. Nice. It says Enhance, if you took damage last turn, this attack gets +4 damage. If you took 1 on the chin, this becomes a 5 mid 9. That's a little scary in and of itself. But it also has a Chew Enhance. If this attack is not blocked, and your rival has 8 or more committed foundations, you win the game. If your rival has 8 or more committed foundations, I doubt they're blocking a 5-speed move, so That's pretty easy to do, and if any of your attacks land, you're committing and flipping a rival foundation. So that plus your stun, plus any other stun you might accrue, or foundation committal, or if they commit to pass checks to block, heaven forbid, that's gonna get scary. Next we have Ogre Boulder, a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 3 high for 5 with a +3 mid block. It's got ranged, stun 1, and Team Rokuyokai stun 1. So in Chu, this is a stun 2. And it says enhance, if your rival has 2 or more face down foundations, this attack is +2 speed. 5 high for 5, that's nice. And then enhance, if your rival has 3 or more committed foundations, this attack is +2 damage. So in Chu, this becomes a stun 2, 5 high for 7. Pretty regularly. Unless it's like turn 2. That's pretty good. That's pretty good on a 4 diff, for a 4 diff rare. I think that's pretty alright. Then we have Ogre Killer, another 4 difficulty attack, 3 control, 4 mid for 3 with a +2 high block. It's got ranged and stun 1, and it says enhance, flip 1 foundation, your rival commits 1 foundation and 1 asset. That's solid. That is asset hate as well as foundation stun, all for the cost of flipping 1 foundation. I think that is really solid for an uncommon. And we don't get enough asset hate. I said acid hate for some reason. We don't get enough asset hate on cards like this. I think this is really neat. Onto foundations, we have Master of Drunken Fighting, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. Enhance, commit, your rival commits 1 foundation. You turn 1 sideways, they turn 1 sideways. If you've got multiple of these, you can just shut down most of your opponent's board in 1 shot. That's pretty fun, and on a common, I think that is a pretty nice common. I am definitely going to be running some of these in several of my foundation hate decks. Next up we have Rokuyokai Huddle, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 high block. It is ally and unique for the keywords. So unique, you can only have 1 in your stage. Enhance, commit, discard 1 momentum, mill 3. Add 1 stun attack milled this way to your hand. Not bad. You discard a momentum, you pitch the top 3 cards of your deck, and if one of them is a stun attack, you recur an attack into your hand. It's not quite draw, but in a pinch, it will do. Hopefully, unless you mill all foundations for some reason. And then it's got a Team Rokuyokai response. After your rival commits 1 or more foundations due to your effect, this attack gets +1 damage. That's pretty solid, pushing the damage forward on some of these 4 diff attacks that are like 3 damage, 4 damage. Then you can just, oh, I'm going to stun 1, get a damage. Team Rokuyokai stun, get another damage. That's going to stack up a lot. And I love that this is where he loses the rock, paper, scissors to become an alternate, even though he's the team leader. Moving on, we have Set the Record Straight, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a not-so-nice +4 mid-block. It says enhance, discard 1 card, this attack gets -2 damage, minimum 1. Pretty alright. It says that if you, for some reason, cannot block this attack, you can just pitch a card from your hand anyway and take less damage. Not great, not bad. I mean, I can definitely see uses for it, and I'm sure it'll see at least a little bit of play. And finally, we have Stumbling Warrior, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid block. Enhance, flip, your stun attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage. That's pretty good. Make your stun attack harder to hit, and it hits harder on just a simple flip cost. I think that's perfectly acceptable for a 2 diff. So, all in all, I think Chu, if I can find him again, Chu's probably going to be another one of those 5-handers to watch out for. We haven't seen a lot of really solid 5-handers, I think, since 4th Kind. I think he was the last 5-hander to really do a lot. I know Deku 4, a lot of people wanted to build him, play him, but I think some other characters just did what he did better. And sure, you get to draw 3 at the beginning of your opponent's turn. Chu says I can draw up to 5 if I want to. I can dump my hand, completely overcommit, Just totally tax all of my hand, and then just draw back up like nothing happened. Just black out on your turn, wake up with a full hand on their turn. And I think that's pretty solid. I think there's going to be some really interesting deck building with Chu. Moving on to the best character in the set, and it's not just because he's my absolute favorite, Elder Toguro. He is a 7-hand size, 20 health character. He's of Team Toguro, obviously, with Death, Evil, and Life. And on the recording of this that got trashed, I had like a 5-minute rant as to why this guy was my favorite character. If you're curious, I'll happily explain it, but I'm going to try to make sure that I don't crash again. So onto his abilities, he has a form, once per turn, discard 1 non-foundation card, so asset, action, attack, character, anything like that. Choose 1 attack in your discard pile, and try to play it as your next form. That's pretty cool. He's allowed to run a much more flexible attack lineup, because he can just pick and choose what he wants to play at any given time, based on what he's got and what his situation is. And then he has an Enhance. Switch this attack's speed and damage. If it is your rival's turn, destroy 1 foundation. That is 2 separate sentences. The first one says, free spooky on every attack. On mine, it's free. On yours, I lose a committed foundation if I have one. That's pretty solid. As someone who likes to play weird control style decks, this is perfect for me. And probably not just because he's my favorite character, but this is the character I am going to be building the most of in this set. Moving on to attacks, we have Finger Daggers. A 4 difficulty, 3 control, 3 mid for 6 with a +2 high block. It's got Fury, Ranged, and Weapon. If this attack deals damage, draw 1 card. So it's a 3 mid 6. But if you're Elder Toguro, it's a 6 mid 3 that draws me a card. No notes, just perfect for an uncommon. I absolutely adore it. Next we have Shapeshift Decoy, a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 6 high for 4 with a +1 mid block. It's got Powerful 3. This is his pseudo blank attack. Like I said, most of the characters seem to have one. It's fine, I guess. It's a 5 diff where everyone else got a 4 diff, so that's a little rough, but it is a 6 speed with Powerful 3, I guess, so it's alright. Moving on to his ultra rare, we have Shapeshifting Impalement, a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 7 mid for 3 with +2 mid block. 7 speed. Sure, it's mid, but it's 7 speed. And it's got Echo and Fury. Echo is probably my favorite keyword ability, aside from Breaker, and this has it. And it says, Enhance. If this attack is played from anywhere other than your hand, your rival loses 1 health. This can kill your rival. If I play it from my discard pile with my face, you lose a health. If I echo it, you lose a health. If I have any of the Yakuza characters' cards that let me play something from not my hand, you lose a health. And then Enhance, if this attack deals damage, which with 7 speed is very likely going to deal damage, gain 2 health. We're a squishy little 20 health, 7 hand size character. We're going to need all the health gain we can get, especially if we're partially blocking, or heaven forbid we have to take an attack directly. This is a good way to heal up, and especially if you've got the Echo on this, you can gain 4 health and deal, 7, 8 damage just from the burn and hitting for 3 damage on this 7 speed attack. That is just glorious. And then we have Surprise Daggers, the other daggers. A 3 difficulty, 3 control, 2 low for 3 with a +2 low block. It's a lot of lows. It's got Breaker 1. Hey, speaking of Breaker, Fury and Weapon. It has 2 enhances. The first is Mill 2. This attack gets +1 speed for each copy of Surprise Daggers in your discard pile. And then Enhance Mill 2, so Mill 4 over the course of this attack. This attack is +1 damage for each copy of Finger Daggers in your discard pile. So if you're playing all of his kit, and you're pitching cards from your hand to play your cards in your discard pile, and you're milling, you can probably make this a pretty solid statted attack for a 3 difficulty attack. And I think this is the first 3 difficulty attack we've seen in this set. Don't quote me on that. By the time of recording, I think a couple of other characters have been revealed, and I may be forgetting something. But this is the first 3 difficulty attack revealed, and I'm glad that it's for my boy, Elder Toguro. On to foundations, we have Adaptable Anatomy. Look at that creepy face. It is a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 mid-block. It says response, flip, after you completely block an attack, it deals no damage. The bane of any 7 hand size character is throws, because they have so little health to work with. Any throw is obviously going to deal damage, unless you have this card. This card says, nope, even your throws don't do any damage. Even your electric jolts, which won't be in standard anymore, but for any reason, deals no damage. So it's just a really nice defensive piece, especially for a common spam. All in all, pretty alright. Next we have Arrogant Fighter. I loved this fight scene, even though it was very short. Shows that you just can't underestimate your opponent no matter what you think. This is a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +2 low block. It says, static, after this foundation is destroyed, seal 1 rival foundation. So if you destroy it for any reason, you just seal their best card for the turn. And then it says enhance, mill 1. It's fine. I mean, if you're going all out into the mill strategy to, get attacks that you want in your discard pile, or you're playing with these surprise daggers and finger daggers to make sure that surprise daggers is huge, this is pretty good. I'd probably only run it for the static of just destroying it to seal something, but you never know, it could have its uses. Next up we have Deadly Ruthlessness, a 2 difficulty foundation with a 5 control and a +2 mid-block. Enhance, check 4. So for the cost, you have to make a control check of at least 4. So if you check a 5, it passes. You check a 3, you're allowed to commit a foundation in order to pass that check. So if you pass the check of 4, if this attack deals damage, your next attack gets +1 damage. So those 7-speed attacks on your Echo, likely gonna do damage. You make a check of 4, your next one gets +1 damage. You echo it into a 7 mid 4 as opposed to a 7 mid 3, and then since that's going to hit again, your next attack is going to get 1 more damage. And it's just a great way to kind of cascade that damage, and also put cards in your discard pile to then play later. And lastly, we have Immortal Shapeshifter. It's got response, check 5, so just like our check 4 previously, you have to check a 5 to pass this, to use this response. After 1 or more of your foundations are destroyed, gain 1 health. That's pretty solid. And then enhance, destroy 1 foundation. Hey, we fuel ourselves. This attack gets +1 damage. So you can destroy a committed foundation, check a 5 to gain a health, and get +1 damage on your attack. I think that's pretty solid. And if I didn't mention before, this is a 2/5 with a +3 high block. I think I just got right into the meat of it. I don't remember if I mentioned its stats or not. But yeah, I really like this as a rare foundation. It fuels itself. We are losing Brute Strength, which destroys a foundation for +1 damage. But this is Brute Strength with some built-in health gain if we need it. And I think that's pretty cool. Overall, like I said, Elder Toguro is my favorite character. This is the character I've been waiting for 5 years, and he does not disappoint. The ceiling on this guy is unseen. It's just so high up there. And as a weird wibbly-wobbly control type player, this is just everything I wanted in this character. So I'm really excited to just lock myself in my lab and just grind out games with Elder Toguro and see if I can perfect him. This is definitely the one I'm excited for the most. And the last character in today's preview review is going to be Genkai. Another character I was waiting for, but not nearly as much as Elder Toguro. Genkai is a 6 hand size, 27 health character with all good and order. She is on Team Urameshi, and she has got 2 enhances, the first of which, if this attack deals damage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an attack, add it to your hand. I see no downsides to this. If you deal any sort of damage with like a throw or, oh man, all throws Genkai is ridiculous. But you get to reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand if it's an attack. I believe this, yeah, she shares all, I believe, with Award the Victor from, I believe it's set 2 of My Hero Academia, which says if your attack deals damage, add it to the top of your deck. Although this creates a floating static, so this would go off before the response window on that. I had a thought, I lost it. And then she also has Enhance, discard 1 card. This attack is plus X or minus X damage to a minimum of 1. X equals the block modifier of the discarded card. So another character that cares about block modifiers. We saw that with Bubble Girl, to a degree. And she also has the good symbol, just like Bubble Girl. So maybe there's some overlap here that we can do. We do have the Bubble Girl throw, which would work really well with Genkai. So let's see what else she's got. We've got her Ultra right off the bat. Absorbed Energy Spirit Strike. A 4 difficulty, 3 control, 4 mid for 3 with a +2 high block. It's got Response. After you block with this card, flip the blocked attack after it resolves. Add the top card of your deck to your momentum. That's pretty good. You get to flip their card, possibly denying them momentum, denying them combos. Excuse me. And you get momentum out of it. That's pretty solid. And then Enhance. Your rival discards 1 momentum. This attack gets plus X damage. X equals the difficulty of the discarded momentum. So if your opponent's playing big attacks like Titan Cliff or Canyon Cannon, you know, those 5-6 difficulty moves, this can get really big really quickly. So that is pretty good. Next up we have Genkai's Spirit Gun. A 5 difficulty, 3 control, 6 mid for 5. 6 is pretty speedy, with a +2 low block. It's got Powerful 3 and Ranged. It's got 2 enhances, the first of which says if this attack is not completely blocked, add 1 card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. So you play this. If it's not completely blocked, you stack an attack on top of your deck, and then with your other Genkai Enhance, you then reveal and add it to your hand. So that's pretty good. Basically, if it's not completely blocked, draw a card on a 6 speed. Pretty nice. And then it has a Genkai Enhance, so if you're a Genkai, you're allowed to change this attack's zone to high or low. Solid. Just really good for a rare. Change the zone of the attack if you're Genkai, and then possibly draw an attack if it's not completely blocked. Pretty good. Next up we have Genkai's Spirit Shotgun. A 5 difficulty, 3 mid for 5, 3 control with a +3 mid block. It is ranged. It says first enhance, so if you want to use this enhance, it has to be the first enhance you use during this attack. If this attack matches 2 or more symbols with your character, it gains throw. So Spirit Shotgun, from the old retro days, was an attack that could always deal half damage, rounded up. It basically gained throw without gaining the throw keyword, and that was very dangerous, and it also worried about matching multiple symbols with your character. So this is a pretty cool homage to that, while making it nowhere near as terrifying. And then Enhance, look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. So if you're Genkai, you can stack that attack on top, and then give this throw, so it deals damage and you draw a card. That's pretty solid. And I am glad that Jiro is rotating, because Spirit Shotgun with Jiro, I know it doesn't have her required symbols, but if you just threw this at your opponent, we're like, I'm just going to draw an attack anyway, it's pretty solid. Next up we have Spirit Breaker. This is a 4 difficulty, 2 low for 4, with a 3 control and a +2 mid block. It's got throw. That's it. So this is her pseudo blank attack, except it's got throw instead of powerful or EX, and especially with what Genkai wants to do, I think that's better. So not much to say about that, except moving on, and poor Suzuka, whatever a clown person's name is. Moving on to her foundations, we have Borrowed Energy, a 2 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 mid-block. It's got 2 enhances, the first of which is Enhance Flip. If your rival has 1 or more momentum, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So it's like Capture Evildoers, but nicer. And then Enhance, discard 1 momentum. This attack gets +X damage, X equals its block modifier. So if you've got some high block modifiers on your attacks, you're going to be gaining a lot more damage just by discarding them from your momentum. And with the new change in the rules as of the beginning of the year, you're allowed to look at your momentum. So you can choose exactly which card you want to discard. Next we have Glimpses of the Past, a 2 difficulty, 5 control, +2 low block. It says Enhance Commit. This attack gets -X speed. X equals the block modifier of the top card of your discard pile. That's pretty alright. And I believe Genkai discards a card from her hand. Yeah, and it gets +X or -X damage. X equals the block modifier. So you can give -X speed, or -X damage to something like -3 or -4, and then Glimpses of the Past to give the next thing -4 speed. Pretty decent. Pretty good way to use those bad block modifiers. Speaking of bad block modifiers, we have I'm Old Yusuke. A 2 difficulty, 4 control with a +4 block modifier. Mr. Chris Smith will be happy. He wanted this on a card. I wanted this on a card. And it's there. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who, whenever I'm feeling a little bit run down, I'll turn to a friend and just be like, I am old, Yusuke. What's the matter with you? I am old. I remember that, and I love that. And I'm so glad that they put it on a card. And it says, Enhance Destroy. Add 1 card with Spirit in its name from your card pool to your momentum or the top of your deck. That's pretty sweet, because you can add any card with Spirit in the name that you've already played to the top of your deck if you're playing this Enhance during, say, a throw, and then just draw that card right back up. So, oh, you blocked it the first time? Do it again. I think this is a very solid rare, well worth the 4 control, and the +4 mid block just says Genkai can give things -4 damage, and then with Glimpse of the Past, -4 speed. I think that is really, really cool. And lastly, but not leastly, we have the Final Test, a 1 difficulty, 5 control with a +3 high block. This says Form, Flip. If you've discarded a card this combat phase, draw a card. So if you've pitched a card, draw a card. That's great. That's really good. Any discard character on these 3 symbols is going to adore this card, probably as like a slam 4 of. Yeah, this is just a really good common. I really like this card. But that is it for Genkai. Yeah, I think she's pretty cool. I remember seeing her the first time, and on, I believe it's True Champion Steven, got to review these, and at first glance I was like, she's okay. I kind of wished for a little bit better, but now that I give it a bit more in-depth look going through this, and that's another reason I love doing this, is allows my brain to stew a little bit. I think she's really good, especially her ability to just rip card attacks off the top of her deck, and ways to manipulate the top of the deck so she can always get another attack is just really, really cool, especially with I'm Old Yusuke. That is awesome. So, yeah, that's been my thoughts on the first 4 characters that have been revealed so far. I will link the original reveals, for the original content creator reveals in the list down below. Please go support them and check out what they had to say about these cards. And special shout out to Pippa is Sad, who not only revealed my boy Elder Toguro and wrote an amazing article revealing him, but also wrote an in-depth how-to-use article for Elder Toguro, and shows kind of all of the things he's capable of doing competitively. So I will link both of those down below. But yes, please, I meant to say this at the beginning, but I was kind of bummed about the loss of my first video where I did say it at the beginning. But yes, please go support the original revealers, and like I said, I will link their videos down below, and articles in Pippa's case. But yeah, what do you guys think of the reveals so far? Who are you excited to see that you haven't yet? Which of these 4 characters do you think makes you the most excited to play? We all know who mine is. I won't go over it anymore. But yeah, if you like my content, please feel free to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment letting me know what your guys' thoughts are, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.